Guess they've earned each other's respect. The muscles did the talking for them.
Hello everyone and welcome to Hats Off. I'm your host and enemy stan user, the Angelo Edwards. So times have really changed when it comes to entertainment, huh? A lot of our entertainment is based in worlds of shades of grey. A lot more conflicts are solved through peaceful means and talking things out. And I'm not against that by any means, and I love a lot of stuff that we get today. But deep inside my very core, I crave something more. Something visceral, straightforward, and only vaguely gay. Classic big buff guy stories about fighting for what's right. None of this "we can work this out, let's use our empathy" stuff.
I can make a promise.
Just a guy punching another guy until he either sides with you or dies. Yeah, it might be toxic masculinity, but it's toxic masculinity I can get behind.
You son of a bitch.
And nowhere was this more present than with the shonen manga of the 80s and 90s. Fist the North Star, Kinnikuman, Man, and relevant even to this day, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. These were a man's man kind of story. Dudes fighting to save the loves of their lives, testing their strength against each other. And if they cried, it was only because the muscles keeping their tears in had to be used to make their punches stronger. And they didn't fight against misunderstood loners or good people that lost their way. They fought against honest to goodness evildoers. Charismatic jerks that would kill just to get a rise out of the hero. And they do it with a smile. I didn't need to think about if the hero was doing the right thing. I knew he was, because this guy's a dick, and the good guy is handing out beatdowns like candy. Perfect storytelling, we peaked here. But of course, as time goes on, things fall out of style. Even if everyone but me is wrong, these things tend to happen. We traded in these chiseled gods for sleeker heroes. Ones willing to show more emotions other than righteous fury. Heck, it even happened to JoJo. And these stories aren't bad. Some of them are my favorite ever. And I like stuff other than action, so it's not like I don't have any media to consume. But action will always be my favorite. And this world exists to please me, so it should be the priority. But there does exist a manga that I feel captures both the clever plots and settings of today and the shonen-filled majesty of the past. And that series is Super Dr. K. What do you think of when you think of a doctor? Middle-aged dude, glasses, kinda wimpy. If you think of a white guy, you might have some biases you need to work on. But you don't think strong, right? Well, you're wrong, because Super Dr. K tells the story of not only the world's most capable doctor, but also the world's most cut doctor. Like, look at this guy, he's built like a statue. This is Kazuya, the titular Super Dr. K. From birth, he has been trained to be a doctor, just as the members of his family had been taught before him. But the world we live in is not perfect, so K does not contain himself to one hospital, or even the medical world in general. He roams the world saving lives and knocking heads. He is Super Dr. K. So this manga is nuts. It doesn't have a set plot as much as it just focuses on Kazuya's travels and exploits. Though it does have continuity, and several plot points show up from time to time. But the manga mostly focuses on Kazuya. So Kazuya is like if you took Jotaro, Blackjack, and Kenshiro and fused them together into the perfect shonen manwich. And then you sent that manwich to medical school. He's amazing in everything that I could want a character to be. Strong, a man of few words, and his fist is just as much of a tool as his scalpel is. He travels the worlds and helps anyone who needs it. He fights against corrupt governments and evil surgeons who are in the field just for the money, and he does it with all the flair of any good action manga. Still, although Kazuya isn't afraid to throw a punch, this manga does primarily focus on his work on the operating table, not in a fight. And while this sounds kinda boring, it most certainly is not. Every chapter sees the doctor fighting against a new ailment, from reattaching a lost limb to doing a heart transplant. Kazuya does it all, and he does it in style. See, this is what you might call a non-traditional battle manga. Things like Haikyuu or Food Wars falls into this category. The main characters aren't really fighting against the guy with their fists, but they treat everything they do as if it were a battle. and the manga is presented as such, taking mundane things like cooking and turning it into, well, this. And I like that. I need that. There is a trick to doing these types of stories, and that trick is balancing the amount of realism and fantasy. See, Super Dr. K says a lot of accurate stuff when it comes to being a doctor. It goes over real diseases and injuries, and explains with just enough detail that anyone reading it can understand. But then it pulls garbage like K using a needle to instantly anesthetize a person, or suturing microscopic veins using just his eyes. You see, this is stuff you can't do, but it's just dumb enough and just smart enough that you'll believe it in the context of the story. It's dumb, but in a smart way. Remember, this isn't just regular Joe Schmo Dr. K. This is Super Dr. K, and he's better than you. You know it, he knows it, and now your wife knows it. Now, in Super Dr. K, a lot of crazy things happen, but I'm gonna stick to the stuff in the first volume because, honestly, some of this stuff has to be read to be believed. For example, one story has K finding a pair of twins, one a delinquent, and the other one lame. And the lame one is in need of a kidney transplant. The other brother doesn't want to give it to him, but after having a change of heart, he gets into a motorcycle accident and suffers burns all over his body. K finds him, and the brother tells him to give his kidney to his brother. But rather than let the brother die, he does both a skin graft and a kidney transplant on both of them at the same time. And they both survive because this is Super Dr. K. He won't let you die. If you're bleeding to death, he'll just punch the blood right back into you. And this is the tamest it gets. You follow him as he does a complete arm replacement surgery in moments, reversing super soldiers in a foreign country, defending himself against the corrupt corporation harvesting organs for themselves, and even squaring off against an equally skilled, yet morally corrupt, Super Dr. T. It really gets nuts, and you have to read it to believe it. One half Fist of the North Star, one half JoJo, and completely amazing all the way through. If a man needs help and has nowhere to turn, Super Dr. K will be there to help. Provided he has the right HMO. Hey man, healthcare is expensive. It's Japan, not Canada. No handouts.